Guessing they're always locked.
Identification, please.
There you go.
Captain Hawthorne, you said. Let me apologize in advance. I'm about to ruin your day. According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a time as they see fit to lift it.
How do I get this resolved?
You'll want to take it up with Udom Bedford, our board representative here on Groundbreaker. His office is located along the starboard wall of the promenade. Shines like a Byzantium commode. Can't miss it.
Day why my ship was impounded.
Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I've turned down 3 promotions, so it stays that way. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but what the hell? This here, impounding your ship, it doesn't happen much. The board knows we don't take kindly to their interfering in our operations. If I had to take a guess as to why, you must have riled up someone important.
I'm going to ring this bed for this guy's neck.
You take the starch out of him, well, you won't hear any complaints from me. Oh, and if you're headed that way, would you mind doing me a favor?
Sure.
Wanda Dorset over in sickbay, tell her the shipment's not in yet. It's not coming in anytime soon, and if she'd be so obliged to get off my ass about it.
A shipment?
A handful of SAM cleaning units retrofitted for surgery. I don't know much else. I stopped listening when she started yelling.
Got it.
Much appreciated. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Oh, that's a lot. I'm looking for someone named Gladys.
Offense. You'll find her in the rest and go, on your left when you enter the promenade. Make sure you bring an empty belly.
Seems like there's some tension between the board and Groundbreaker.
You noticed, huh?
People won't stop yapping about it.
What can I say? We're passionate folks, and the board can't abide that independent spirit, especially not when it might impact their bottom line. All their interstellar freighters come through us, and we skim a few bits off the top in manifest processing fees with every one. Folks around here will bluster that the board hates our freedom, but really, they know we can stop their outsystem shipments anytime we like, and that terrifies them.
I'm glad it terrifies them. The best says keep pushing them.
It's a delicate balance, right? We could cancel their freighters' docking privileges in retaliation, but where'd that lead us? They got assault cruisers, gunships, and a handful of mining operations at their fingertips. We push them too hard, maybe they decide we'd be better in 10 trillion little pieces. Or they cobble together a new groundbreaker and put us out of business.
The board runs most of the system, don't they?
Yep, Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Aside from us, there's just tramp freighters and wildcat miners. Seems like every year the board's offices get bigger and their ships take up more of the landing bays. Haven't seen nearly as many tramp crews this year. Sure thing.
Can I find a job around here?
Maybe. Most of the shipping traffic in the system passes through Groundbreaker. Every couple of months, we even get a big interstellar freighter. 2 biggest operations are the board, that is, Halcyon Holdings and Sublight Salvage. But there are independent operators around the promenade deck. Most of those jobs are going to take you off station, though.
Let's see. Didn't think there were many independent operators in the system.
Relative to the board holdings? Not really. But there's a few with the means to go where they will. They aren't rich, but they aren't likely to look too close at your work history either.
Does Halcyon Holdings work anyway?
Are you pulling my leg?
just want to hear your take on it.
Goes like this. Back on Earth, before the crossing, the powers that be were selling off stakes in distant star systems they thought had potential. A bunch of companies decided to throw in together and form the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, then buy up the rights to this here colony. That group's what we now call the Board.
How does Groundbreaker fit into that?
Groundbreaker was one of the original colony vessels to come over on the crossing, a few years before her sister ship, the Hope. Once everybody been de-thawed and dropped dirt side, the original crew of the Groundbreaker decided they rather liked the spacefaring life. I guess that was the start of our independent spirit. Now, here we are.
So there's actually a boardroom somewhere in, with all these company heads in it.
Sitting around drinking whiskey and smoking cigars, yeah, probably. Can't say for sure, of course. Doubt I'll ever see the inside of it myself.
Voordat je hit that one. Yeah, got
Glad
it.
to help.
What do you know about supply salvage?
They strip the parts from derelict ships and abandoned outposts. There's some that say they make the derelicts and encourage folks to abandon their steads. Sublight gives me the creeps. I've known folks who went to work for them and just vanished. They're on the promenade run by a woman named Lilia Hagen. I'm only telling you so you know to avoid them.
That's all I need to know about work.
All right?
Let's see. What can you tell me about Udom Bedford?
He's friendly enough unless you speak ill of the board. Get the sense he doesn't care for Groundbreaker much. Not that he would, being a board man and all. He's our liaison.
Yeah, so that's
Sure
all.
thing.
Look for drink and the
Most
recommendations.
places are on the promenade deck. Big door yonder, straight through security. There's a bar on the starboard side. I got a preference for the Lost Hope myself. Talk to Vera. She'll set you right.
Got it.
You need anything else? You let me know. Don't want anyone saying Groundbreaker's not the most hospitable port in the colony.
See you around.
Be seeing you.
Oh, that's a
Picked up
workbench.
this weird signal the other day. It was coming from Monarch.
Here we go again. No one lives on Monarch. It's a wasteland. You're hearing things.
No, seriously. There was a lot of static at first, but then this voice said his name.
Yogo's Mock Apple Cider. A hard cider for a hard life.
That's a Gladys. Let's visit this pain in the ass guy.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt the regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. The board
Oh, here's
will
Vera.
remind spacers and other travelers that passage to Monarch is restricted for your protection.
Where is...
Candidates
Oh, it's further
of
up.
acid and sulfur rain are the least of the...
Seeking relief from the heat? Till June Lay gets those radiators fixed, I've got the next best thing.
There's supposed to be no way I could get to Stellar Bay on Monarch.
Stellar Bay proper? Tough to say. The board recalled all the nav keys about 10 years back when the corpse pulled back to Terra 2.
You know why?
It's overrun with beasts, I heard. Big ones. Kinda chew your face off for fun. Might all be board propaganda, though. If you're aiming to get to Stellar Bay, you're gonna have to get your hands dirty. The board don't like them that truck with Monarch. But I ain't the one you ought to be asking. Try Gladys on the promenade. She'll fix you up.
All the traders in the system come through here. Heard anything interesting?
Only the usual. Marauders all over space. You ever wonder how folk who can't figure the bleeding edge technology of a spoon can manage to get ships into space?
What's this heat issue I hear people complaining about?
The radiators, they're fucked 10 ways to Sunday. And we're all sweating buckets wondering when the powers that be are gonna get around to fixing it.
Sounds like you might have an issue with your thermal control system.
Couldn't say, and I wouldn't be pouring drinks professionally if I could. All I know is we're cooking in our own juices here, and it's only gonna get worse.
Who's in charge of fixing it?
Engineering. Chief Junlei Tennyson, to be precise. She runs this heap. Best she can, anyway. Don't know what's got her dragging her heels, but I wish she'd hurry it up.
Maybe I can do something about that.
That's not for me to say. But if you're feeling the urge toward helpfulness, you can find Chief Junlei in engineering.
What do you know about Chief Junlei?
There's nobody who knows more about the station's guts. Any system you could name, June's crawled around inside and made it better. She doesn't come around here often, though. Don't see her as much of a drinker. Too straight-laced for that.
Let's see what you got.
Nothing you need and everything you want.
So all the drugs are sealed. Well, I should be able to sell a few things. Let's see that. That's 20 seconds, 15 seconds. Oh, that's horrible. I feel like I should just sell a bunch of these. Wait, why is it that low? Guessing because it's a massive negative. Well, at least it's not heavy. Energy canister. So it looks like I should just sell all of these. Sell junk Z. Let's do all of it. Does the rest then go? Oh, there's a corporate.
Byzantium, you gold-plated bastards.
Yeah, no one wants your...
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your...
Ah, yes. Wheeler messaged me you were coming. He must be the captain of the Unreliable, a vessel that used to be helmed by one Alex Hawthorne. And you are not he. Has something happened to my favorite scruffy freelancer?
Holy shit, some of these are not gonna make him happy. Alex is dead.
Oh no, this is terrible. My dear friend, what devilry is this? In whose miserable fever dream am I trapped?
Sorry for your loss.
Oh, Alex. There were so many arguments we'd yet to have.
What's your relationship with him?
He was my dearest friend. My only friend. You have his ship, you must know. That picture of us on the promenade, me hugging him, him wincing. I keep a copy beside my bed. Did he?
I really wouldn't know.
It must have been lost with Alex then. One more tragedy to top the pile. Tell me, how did he die?
He died in an escape pod accident.
Oh, awful business that. But why? How? No. Best not to ask after the gory details.
Again, I'm very sorry. Can we get back to the topic at hand?
Right. You're going important places, I'm sure. Big, exciting, important places. There, I've removed the flag from your ship. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience. However, before you go, Alex promised to tell me the location of Phineas Wells. I'm sure you've seen his wanted posters all over the colony. Did Alex tell you where Wells might be? Anything at all?
Why is the board so interested in Wells anyway?
You haven't read the posters? He's a terrorist, a thief, a madman. It's really in the colony's best interest that we stop him before he does further harm.
Why do you think I'd know anything about Wells?
Well, Alex knew, or he said he did. And you have his ship. Maybe he kept some records around, or a conveniently placed note on his bedside table.
Alex never mentioned Phineas Wells.
That's... well, that's just terrible news. Law, what am I going to do now? The board will have my head. Oh, I'm sorry. This is terribly unprofessional of me. Is there anything else I might help you with?
What's this about the board having your head?
It's personal business, I'm afraid. Miserably, terribly personal.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Information on the whereabouts of Phineas Wells would go a long way. It's... well, it's my white whale, I suppose.
I can't tell you where Wells is.
It's fine. Really, it's perfectly fine. I understand. Now, if you've nothing else, please see yourself out. I'd like to drown myself in work.
I want to ask you something else.
Be my guest.
Can you get me to Stella Bay?
Good law. Who'd want to go to that toxic hell pit?
So no?
No. Emphatically no. Unequivocally no. Immutably no.
I would have done it. You won't have to crack open a thesaurus.
Best to be clear, I believe.
What do you do here exactly?
I'm the certified representative of the board's interests here on the Groundbreaker. I'm their eyes, ears, and busy little hands.
Big face in a small space station. Nice setup.
I have few complaints.
Does it seem hot in here to you?
Law, but it's miserable. My underarms are damp. How can I be expected to work in these conditions? Chief Tennyson is supposedly looking into the cause, but I've seen no action from her. Deplorable conduct. My superiors will be hearing about it. You can be certain of that.
Why are there armed guards in here?
Oh, you've noticed my friends. Wonderful. Aren't their guns very large? Tremendously impressive. They're here to keep the peace, of course.
Watch your back, you mean?
Precisely. Groundbreaker makes much ado about its independent status and so resents any board presence, no matter how benign.
You call keeping officers on the promenade benign?
When the alternative is board guards at their gates, yes, I do. They don't see it that way, of course, but I can't say I much care.
What are those locked doors in the back?
A luxury stateroom reserved for Chairman Rockwell's use.
Does the chairman visit here often?
Oh, good law, of course not. He'd never set foot on this decrepit junk pile. As this office is the primary embassy for the board on Groundbreaker, corporate bylaws specifically state a room must be maintained for the chairman's exclusive use.
Back to my other questions.
Ask away.
And I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm not giving it that information.
Have you seen this man? Report offered for information leading to the capture of noted terrorist Vinny 12. Report any sightings to your local board embassy.
Kitchen. Armory. Let's visit Gladys. Salvager.
C&P chicken and potatoes. At C&P, we know
I'm not
our
going
C&P.
anywhere, you hear? You can't keep me out of there.
Please don't make a scene, Dr. Fenhill.
I am
Oh.
not making a scene.
Restricted access. Authorized personnel in restricted areas will be shot on sight without question. You can either fight, sneak, or use the holographic route to get through restricted areas. Post-mortem fines will be paid by the closest living relative.
What was that? Margits! Open fire!
Oh shit. That was fast. So, how do you use that thing? Yeah, so I have the shroud. Open. Well, I never said how to use it. You found an ID cartridge to use the holographic shroud. You are now automatically disguise yourself and entering the associated area. So, it might have been better.
What do you think you're doing?
I was just leaving.
Just keep your fingers to your own self.
There we go. The holographic shroud is activated, giving you temporary access to the restricted area. Moving drains the shroud's energy. When it runs out, personnel will see and interrogate you. Talk your way out of the interrogations to reset your shroud. It will get harder to talk your way out the more you are interrogated. So I need to go that way and back. Might as well take everything. It does say there's a way in there. Oh, yeah, that is. Armor parts. Nothing. Something. I served on 2 corporate freighters before I got stranded here. Everyone's heard my sob story, but no one's listening. To them, I'm just backstory radiation. Background radiation. Was it my fault the captain decided to take off early? Was it my fault no one checked the crew manifest? Was it my fault they replaced me with a full-timer? Now I'm filthy, bitless, and bedless. Far as everyone's concerned, I'm groundbreaker trash. That's how I live, and if no one agrees to take me as on as crew, I suppose that's how I die. So I came through that. There should be a way through this. There it is. More Retties.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertising.
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking on a poor old woman's door. You here for a particular reason? Or did the neighbors tell you how good my sugar cookies are? Made without a single natural ingredient or an oven. Just like store-bought.
Phineas sent me. He said you could sell me a nav key to Stellar Bay.
Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a transaction. Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. We're outside of the board's control. For the time being, at least. Now, I only have the one nav key. And they're hard to come by these days. It won't be cheap. If you find yourself lacking in the bits, I might have an opportunity you'd be interested in.
That's 10,000. There's no way I have that amount. Any chance of discounts this Phineas sent me?
Phineas, that old kook. He was quite the dancer back in his prime, did he tell you? Real light on his feet. Real light on the wallet, too. He still owes me a small fortune. Laws. Maybe I should charge you double.
She didn't like that. Tell me about this opportunity.
Well, I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little moral flexibility. Might be this could help out the Groundbreaker, as well as earn some bits. But if you've got qualms...
No qualms here. Let's hear the details.
Do you know Edna, over in engineering? Sweet as a pea, that one. On occasion, she'll pass along transmissions I might find interesting. She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped from the Groundbreaker's comm array. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called Roseway. And Auntie Cleo abandoned that place years ago.
How was Roseway abandoned?
Can't say I know for sure. Maybe it never really was. Those corps are cleverer than all get out. Might have been a ruse to keep the rest of the board from sniffing around.
Say no more, I'm in.
You've got an ear for intrigue and a nose for bits. I like that. Here's a copy of the SOS recording, complete with the coordinates. If you should find a secret worth selling, might be I could find a buyer. Corporate bigwigs will pay top bit for inside information on their competitors. The more we got the corps fighting each other, the less time they got to meddle in our affairs.
Abandoned outpost, corporate secrets, got it.
Don't forget to come find old Gladys when you're done.
What other jobs do you know about?
Might want to acquaint yourself with Junlei Tennyson, Groundbreaker's chief. She's been trying to get a handle on this heat problem we've got. You'll find her fretting in engineering. I'd say she's a sweet girl, but law forfend someone call me a liar.
Let's see what you have.
I've got a lovely little throw pillow. Just something I toss together. Like to keep my hands busy.
Sounds like I leveled up. Oh, hello. This is mining archive cartridge. What's this? A data pad. A super OP weapon. That is what, radiation damage? The price is stupid. There's no way I can buy this. Well, that's pristine and everything. So I can buy this. That one. And the datapad. The old datapad contains incident reports from various mortared security patrols. Most are details of simple finds and dust-ups between the crews of the Wildcat freighters and corporate haulers. 2 entries have been marked for later review. So August 7, 2344. Responded to a code ID 10T at the Lost Hope. Vera asked us to bounce on Back Bay Red that got himself soaked in Spectrum Red. Drunken Fool got into a scuffle with one of Engineer Tennyson's people. We tossed the run lead back down to the base. Hassel fought us the entire way, telling us we'd be sorry once he controlled the hammer's power. If this is some new Hammersmith marketing stunt, I'm complaining to Sanita. October 25, 2344. Had another run in with the run glitch from the Lost Hope. Don't know how the uppity biker crawled out of the back base without us noticing. Locked himself into the repair bay of docking slip 13 and refused to come out. Kept raving about the weapon's chaotic beauty or some shit while we were trying to talk him out. Had to break off when our shift ended. All had gotta come out eventually.